There are some mysteries that keep scientists up at night. Unexplained disappearances, creepy paranormal activity, and events that simply defy logic. Today, we're going to talk about 10 of the most terrifying unsolved mysteries that will send shivers down your spine. Stay tuned, because number 1 will make you question everything you thought you knew. Let's get into it. The moving stones of Death Valley. Deep in Death Valley, California, a bizarre phenomenon has baffled investigators for decades. Massive rocks, some weighing over 600 pounds, mysteriously move across the desert floor, leaving behind long, winding trails. What's crazy is no one has ever seen them in motion. For years, people speculated about supernatural forces, UFOs, or magnetic fields. It wasn't until 2014 that scientists discovered a possible explanation. During rare winter rains, a thin layer of ice forms beneath the rocks, allowing them to glide when strong winds blow. But even this doesn't fully explain the strange, zigzagging patterns or why some rocks move while others don't. Despite what scientists found, many believe something much stranger is happening. Some say the stones are being moved by an unseen force, perhaps a secret military experiment, or even a paranormal presence. Even now, visitors to Death Valley claim to hear whispers in the wind, and some even report seeing the rocks shift slightly when no one is looking. Is there a logical explanation, or is something otherworldly at play? You tell me. The disappearance of the Sodder children. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a fire broke out at the Sodder family's home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder and 4 of their children escaped. Their other 5 children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were nowhere to be found. Their bodies were never recovered either. Firefighters combed through the debris but found no bones, no remains, nothing. Local authorities ruled the fire an accident, but the Sodders believed their children had been kidnapped. Over the years, strange evidence surfaced. A witness claimed they saw a group of children being taken away in a car that night. Later, the Sodders received a mysterious photograph of a man who resembled one of their missing sons, along with a note. Many believe the children were abducted as part of an elaborate cover-up, possibly involving organized crime. But without any solid proof, their fate remains one of the most chilling and unexplained disappearances in history. The Dyatlov Pass incident. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers set out on an expedition in Russia's Ural Mountains. Days later, they were found dead in horrifying conditions. Overnight, something caused them to cut their way out of their tent and flee the campsite while inadequately dressed for the heavy snowfall and sub-zero temperatures. When their bodies were discovered, an investigation determined that 6 of them had died from hypothermia, while the other 3 had been killed by physical trauma. One victim had major skull damage, 2 had severe chest trauma, and another had a small crack in his skull. 4 of the bodies were found lying in running water in a creek, and 3 of these 4 had damaged soft tissue of the head, and face 2 of the bodies had missing eyes. 1 had a missing eyes, missing tongue, and 1 had missing eyebrows. Theories about what happened range from military experiments, animal attacks, to supernatural forces or some combination of these factors. But none of these explain the eerie details. Whatever happened in Dyatlov Pass remains one of the most terrifying unsolved mysteries of all time. The missing Roanoke colony. The Roanoke colony was founded in 1585. It was an attempt by Sir Walter Raleigh to found the first permanent English settlement in North America. Just 5 years after it was established, though, in 1590, it was visited by a ship who discovered it had inexplicably disappeared. It has come to be known as the Lost Colony, and the fate of the 112 to 121 colonists remains unknown. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a fence post. Croatoan can mean many things. For example, it can mean a nearby Native American tribe. The Croatoan people were an indigenous tribe that lived on Hatteras Island, about 50 miles south of Roanoke. Some historians believe the missing settlers may have assimilated into this tribe to survive. It's also a destination. Some theories suggest Croatoan was a message left behind, indicating that the settlers relocated to Croatoan Island, now Hatteras Island. However, no definitive evidence was found there. Or it could mean something more sinister. The word Croatoan has popped up in eerie places throughout history. It was supposedly found in Amelia Earhart's diary before she vanished, whispered in the final moments of Edgar Allan Poe, and even linked to other disappearances over time. Speculation that they had assimilated with nearby Native American communities appears in writings as early as 1605. Investigations produced reports that the Roanoke settlers had been massacred, and there were stories of people with European features being seen in Native American villages, but no conclusive evidence was found. No bodies, no signs of struggle, nothing. The Man from Tord. The Man from Tord is one of the most perplexing cases of mysterious disappearances and unexplained travel in modern history. The story begins in 1954 at Tokyo International Airport, when a man appeared, claiming to be from a country called Tord. When the airport officials asked for identification, the man presented a passport issued by the country of Tord, but it appeared to be legitimate, complete with stamps and visa entries. However, the problem was that there was no such country on any map. Tord did not exist. Confused and intrigued, the airport authorities took the man aside for questioning and further investigation. The man insisted that he was from Tord, a country located between France and Spain, but his claims were entirely baffling, as no one had ever heard of such a place. As the investigation continued, officials were further shocked to find that the man spoke several languages fluently, including Japanese, and seemed completely unaware of any geographical discrepancies in his passport. When the authorities checked the map to find Tord, the man pointed to the area between France and Spain, which coincidentally was part of the Andorra region. Despite his insistence that he had been to Japan many times before, no records of his arrival existed. He had no prior connections to any individuals in Japan, and the passport he had used was thoroughly examined and found to be authentic, leaving investigators puzzled as to how a man from a non-existent country had traveled to Tokyo using legitimate documentation. The man was reportedly calm throughout the ordeal, showing no signs of panic, but his strange behavior only deepened the mystery surrounding his identity. What happened next is equally baffling. Airport authorities decided to lock the man in a secure room while they made further investigations, hoping to find some explanation for his appearance. However, when they returned, he had mysteriously vanished without a trace. The room in which he was held had been securely locked, and there were no signs of forced entry or exit. It was as if the man had disappeared into thin air. To this day, no one has been able to explain the case of the man from Tord. Some have speculated that the man may have come from an alternate dimension or parallel universe, where Tord was an actual country. Others believe he was a victim of a complex hoax or misunderstanding. Despite all the efforts to uncover the truth, the identity of the man and the mystery of his origins remain unsolved. What do you think? Is this an urban legend, or is it still one of the most bizarre mysteries in the world? The Hinterkaifeck murders. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of Germany's most chilling unsolved mysteries. In 1922, a family of 6 was brutally murdered on their isolated farm, located deep in the woods of southern Germany near the village of Hinterkaifeck. The family consisted of Andreas Gruber, his wife Cecilia, their daughter Victoria, and her children Karl and Cecilia, ages 2 and 7, along with their maid Maria Baumgartner. The horrific crime went unnoticed for several days, even though the murders occurred on the property. What makes the case even more mysterious is the fact that there were no signs of struggle or forced entry, and no witnesses were ever found. The killer, or killers, appeared to have had unfamiliar access to the farm, as neighbors reported hearing strange sounds coming from the house in the days following the murder. The investigation uncovered several chilling facts. It was discovered that the murders took place over a span of several days, as the killer reportedly stayed inside the house after committing the crimes. It was believed that the killer had spent time in the attic, living off the food and resources of the family while remaining hidden. For several days, neighbors had seen footprints in the snow leading to the house, but didn't think anything suspicious of it. There were also accounts of strange behavior leading up to the murders. Andreas Gruber, for example, had reported hearing footsteps in the attic and found a strange set of footprints leading from the house into the woods, but could never explain them. Strangely, the family's dog survived the murders, but instead of alerting neighbors to danger, it seemed to be calm and unperturbed, which raised further questions about the events surrounding the killings. Despite extensive investigations and many theories, no one was ever charged with the murders, and the case remains unsolved to this day. Many theories have emerged about what happened at Hinterkaifeck, but none have been conclusively proven. Some believe the murders were committed by an estranged family member or someone with knowledge of the family's routine, possibly even someone who had been previously employed by the Grubers. Others point to the possibility of a serial killer who used the farm's isolation to commit the crime without being caught. The mystery deepened when it was suggested that a local man might have been involved in the crime, but the investigation turned up no solid evidence to support this claim. Another theory points to the involvement of supernatural forces, as some locals believe the farm was cursed. Despite multiple investigations and various theories, the truth behind the Hinterkaifeck murders remains elusive, making it one of Germany's most famous and unsettling cold cases. What are your thoughts on this? The Bennington Triangle disappearances. The Bennington Triangle is a region located in southwestern Vermont, known for a series of mysterious disappearances that have puzzled investigators and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. Between 1945 and 1950, 5 people vanished without a trace while in the area, all under strange and unexplainable circumstances. The first disappearance occurred in 1945 when Mitty Rivers, a guide for hunters, led a group of men into the woods, but he never returned. His companions searched for hours but could find no trace of him, despite being in an area they had all frequented for years. This was just the beginning of a series of unsettling events that would haunt the region. In 1946, a young woman named Paula Weldon disappeared while hiking along the Long Trail, a popular path that runs through the Bennington Triangle. Paula was last seen walking along the trail, but after her disappearance, extensive searches turned up nothing, no evidence of a struggle, no footprints, and no clues as to where she had gone. The case received widespread media attention, but it too remained unsolved, adding to the growing list of inexplicable disappearances. Other individuals who vanished in the triangle include James Tedford, who was last seen on a bus, and 2 other hikers who also vanished without a trace in the late 1940s. All of these cases were marked by the same lack of evidence, as if the missing persons had simply vanished into thin air. Many theories have been proposed to explain these disappearances, like wild animal attacks, to more supernatural explanations. Some speculate that the Bennington Triangle could be a hotspot for unexplained phenomena such as alien abductions, time warps, or even cryptid encounters with creatures like Bigfoot. The dense forests, mysterious fogs, and strange occurrences in the region have fueled these paranormal theories, with some suggesting that the disappearances could be connected to ancient Native American legends about the area being cursed. Despite numerous investigations and theories, the truth behind the Bennington Triangle remains one of the most creepy and unusual mysteries in Vermont's history. The Dybbuk Box. The Dybbuk Box is an infamous object steeped in supernatural lore, known for its terrifying history of alleged paranormal activity. The box first gained attention when it was sold on eBay in 2004 by a man named Kevin Mannis, who claimed that the object was cursed. According to Mannis, he bought the box at an estate sale, unaware of its dark past. The original owner, an elderly Jewish woman, had supposedly kept the box in her possession for decades, warning that it was inhabited by a Dybbuk, a malicious spirit from Jewish folklore. The woman allegedly passed away shortly after selling the box, leading many to believe that the spirit within had latched onto the box and was seeking a new host. After acquiring the box, Mannis reported a series of strange and terrifying occurrences. He claimed that both he and others who came into contact with the box experienced severe health issues, unsettling noises, and vivid nightmares. Mannis himself was reportedly plagued with bad luck and unexplainable phenomena, such as objects moving on their own and electrical malfunctions. Those who came into possession of the box after Mannis, including the people who purchased it on eBay, also reported strange happenings. Some of these individuals claimed they experienced nightmares, hallucinations, or even physical injuries. The box itself was said to emit an eerie presence, with its smell of rotting or decaying matter being cited as a clue to the evil spirit within. The legend of the Dybbuk box has grown over time, with many people speculating about its true nature. Some believe that it is indeed cursed, acting as a vessel for a vengeful spirit, while others argue that the entire story is a hoax created to sell the box as an object of paranormal fascination. The box was eventually donated to the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, where it continues to be a source of intrigue and fear. Its story has been featured in multiple documentaries and books, with many curious individuals claiming that merely being near the box or even talking about it can bring bad luck or misfortune. Whether a hoax or a true paranormal artifact, the Dybbuk box remains a mystery that has left its mark on popular culture and continues to be a subject of fascination for those drawn to the supernatural. The Devil's Footprints. In the early morning hours of February 9, 1855, the residents of Devon, England, awoke to find a mysterious trail of hoof-like footprints in the snow. These prints appeared to span over 40 miles and were remarkably consistent in size and shape, leading many to believe they were created by the devil himself. The footprints, which were around 4 to 8 inches long, appeared in an unbroken line, sometimes going across rivers, climbing over walls, and even passing through chimney stacks. What made this phenomenon even more creepy was that there was no visible source for the footprints. No animal, human, or other explanation was found for the bizarre markings. The local population was understandably terrified, and rumors quickly spread that the devil had walked the earth during the night, leaving a trail of fear in his wake. The bizarre nature of the devil's footprints has led to a variety of theories and explanations over the years. Some believe that they were the result of a local animal, such as a badger, otter, or rabbit, which had been misidentified due to the way the prints had been distorted by the snow. Others argue that the footprints could have been caused by hoaxers, perhaps someone with a set of carved wooden hooves making their way across the region for whatever reason. Another popular theory is that the prints were caused by the natural effects of snow and wind, which could have created unusual patterns that resembled hooves. However, no solid evidence has ever been found to support any of these theories, and the mystery of the devil's footprints is still unsolved to this day. While the footprints were likely caused by some natural or human-made phenomenon, the devil's footprints continue to take the imagination of people worldwide. Some consider the event to be yet another hoax, but for many, the strange markings still evoke the supernatural. The idea of the devil walking among us, leaving his mark on the earth, is a chilling one, and the mystery surrounding the footprints remains a part of Devon's folklore. To this day, the devil's footprints are one of the paranormal mysteries in the United Kingdom, serving as a reminder of the inexplicable and often eerie events that have captured human imagination for centuries. The toxic death of Gloria Ramirez, the woman who poisoned a hospital. The tragic and mysterious case of Gloria Ramirez, known as the Toxic Woman, is one of the most bizarre medical mysteries of the 20th century. In February 1994, Gloria Ramirez was rushed to the emergency room at Riverside General Hospital in California, suffering from severe symptoms related to advanced cervical cancer. However, things took a terrifying turn when medical staff began to notice that her body was releasing fumes that seemed to make them ill. As Ramirez's condition worsened, doctors and nurses began to experience a series of strange symptoms, including dizziness, nausea, and fainting. In total, 23 hospital staff members were affected by what appeared to be a toxic substance, with some being hospitalized themselves. The scene in the emergency room was described as chaotic, with people fainting and the atmosphere growing increasingly tense as doctors scrambled to understand what was happening. The initial suspicion was that Ramirez had been poisoned, but after performing a number of tests, medical professionals could not determine the exact cause of the toxicity. One nurse described the smell coming from Ramirez as similar to ammonia, with an oily sheen on her skin and strange particles in her blood. Some of the first responders also reported feeling a fainting sensation as they worked with her. As the case began to unfold, it was hypothesized that Ramirez's body had released some kind of toxic gas, possibly as a result of her cancer treatments, which included dimethyl sulfoxide, a chemical commonly used in treating cancer-related pain. It was later suggested that this might have reacted with oxygen in the air, creating a highly toxic gas that incapacitated the medical staff. The official cause of death was renal failure, but the mystery of what exactly caused the toxic reactions among the hospital staff remains unsolved. Over time, theories have come up that the chemical reaction between the dimethyl sulfoxide and oxygen produced a highly dangerous substance that caused the symptoms. Some even suggested that Ramirez might have been the victim of an intentional poisoning or environmental contamination. However, no solid evidence has ever confirmed any of these theories, leaving the case open-ended. The story of Gloria Ramirez and the hospital poisoning continues to be a chilling reminder of the unpredictable and potentially deadly consequences of chemical reactions in the human body, especially when under extreme stress and exposure to treatment. And there you have it, 10 terrifying unsolved mysteries that continue to haunt and puzzle us to this day. From disappearances to strange phenomena, these chilling stories leave us questioning what we truly know about our world. Which one of these mysteries scared you the most, or do you have your own theory on what happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more spine-tingling content.